Hey, what's going on, guys? There is a number of 30 minutes missions kits that I want to get caught up on, and we're going to start off here with the Spinatio Night type here to start off. So this is one that's been very popular. A lot of you guys have probably already built it. I obviously have not yet. Now, I have built other versions of the Spinatio. This one has just the night-themed armor, and in this video, I do also want to combine the review of the customized weapon, energy weapon set here as well, just because here on the box art you can see it's pictured, number one, with the Spinatio Night type, and I think these will probably go really well with the Spinatio Night type here. There's a bunch of different weapons in this set. Let's go ahead and get into it here for today's video. All right, so for our box art here, we've got a typical 30 minutes mission style with a CG render of the Spinatio Night type right there. And there you can see it kind of without all the armor on there in the background as well. And then a couple of units over here showing some of the different weaponry and some different posing options there, sort of action scene in the background. This is number 48 in the 30 minutes missions lineup. And as you can see, it's a pretty typical, quite thin box here for this one. On the bottom of the box, we got to look at the main Spinatio unit, and there's all the armor and weaponry kind of laid out there as separate parts. So you can see it comes with a shield, a sword, and that's going to be the main weaponry that we have with this. Looks like we do also have some hand options included. And there you can see kind of the mode change between the less armor and more armor. Obviously, you have some options there, and of course you can customize it further with all sorts of different other stuff from the line. On the other side of the box here, just again a little bit about the assembly of the unit, and that's pretty much it for the outside of the box. Let's take a look at the inside of the box. So it looks like we're going to have those nice armor pieces in a nice molded silver, which will look really cool. But we'll take a look at the runners momentarily. First, just to check out the instruction manual here, we've got some info about the Spinatio units overall, and then the specifically night type that's there in Japanese and in English. So in case you guys are interested in reading that, you can go ahead and pause the video there to check out some of that info. And then some more information just about the general story right here. It's a lot more text, but obviously without any sort of anime or game or something that this is sourced from, this story is basically all that we're going to have in order to kind of explain the world of 30 minutes missions. So here we have the Earth Allied Forces, the Bylon Forces, and the Maxion Forces. So that's kind of our three factions here, and the Spinatio is the base unit of the Maxion Forces there. So again, everything's in Japanese and in English, which is great. So here on the back side, we've got our guide to which parts from which runners go to which section of the build, and then the start of the construction. So here we've got some pretty interesting concepts for some customs here. The Spinatio Armored Samurai type, the Armored Ninja type, and the Special Ops Knight type. So this tells you what is used for these, the base kit, and then the option sets that are used to make these custom builds. So really cool that they give you some ideas there and tell you all the specific parts and everything. We've got our parts list here on the next page, and then the construction, which is going to start off in color. Everything on the inside of the manual here is going to be just in black and white. Very simple and straightforward construction process for these kits. As for our runners here, we've got PC7, which is going to give us some polycap ball joints there in gray. Runner A1 is going to be some parts here in a nice dark blue. Runner A2 is going to be our one clear blue piece there for the visor on the face. Then runners B1 and B2 here are going to be molded in this nice kind of dark molded silver. The color looks good. You are going to have some of that swirl from the metallic injection in some of these parts if you're not a fan, but that does look really nice. I think the finish of these parts, I think it looks good. Runners C1 and C2 joined together here are going to be our 30 minutes missions frame 2 runner, so a familiar runner obviously, especially for the different Spinatio types, but this one is molded in a nice gunmetal color there, a darker molded silver. And then runners D1 and D2 are going to be some more molded silver parts here like we saw on the B runner, and here you can see some of our armor, including the weapons like the shield and then the sword here, which the sword is quite long, quite a substantial sword that we got for this guy. And then lastly, runner D3 for a few more parts here in dark blue, and that's it. As for the energy weapons option set here, kind of interesting, it says perfect for 1/44 scale models. So yeah, you can absolutely use this with your Gunpla and it would work really well there. Like I said, we have the Spinatio Night type right there on the front, and then also another kind of different Spinatio there in the background, but you can see all of our different parts that we're going to have included. And like I said, there's a bunch of parts in here and a lot of different combinations that we can do with this. And especially if you get more than one set, you can make even more combinations and stuff. So here's just a look at some of the different options there on the front. On the ends of the box, you can see this is number 24 in the weapons subline of 30 minutes missions. And then on this side, once again, shows you all the contents and then a couple of different combination options, from a big kind of energy buster sword to these kind of energy sickle and knife or kind of dagger weapons there. You also have these kind of energy tank parts there, kind of squarish one and a round one. So those look really interesting there as well. And of course, you can customize this with all sorts of different kits from the line, and then, like I said, with Gunpla or anything else too, honestly, for that matter. So inside here, obviously, we're probably going to have some gray and clear blue parts would be my guess, but let's just take a quick look at the instruction manual here. As it goes with these weapon sets, it's usually just one fold-out sheet like this. So we've got some construction of at least what it shows you can make, and then of course, just for everything else, you just kind of have to get creative. So you have like a handle part, and then some different sword blades that you can make. But of course, like I said, yeah, you can just obviously combine and make all sorts of different combinations with these parts. Here's our parts list right down there at the bottom. And then for the runners, this is pretty interesting. Here we have OPWJ1, so option weapons. J1, you have this runner in just a normal gray, and we have 2 of these for some of the gray parts. And then OPWJ3 is actually in both gray and in clear blue, so that's really interesting. I expected, obviously, we're gonna have our clear blue bladed parts, which do look pretty nice. I kind of wish that these were in a little bit more similar to like what we've seen in some recent Gunpla kits, where they have like the, what is it, like iodinized or whatever the word they're calling for it. Basically, iridescent powder injected clear parts, I think would look really nice for these. So unfortunate that that's not what was used for these. But yeah, I was not expecting that we would also have these just here in gray as well as an option, so you can make them as just like a physical sword or an energy sword, so that's cool. And then we also have option weapons runner J2 here. This one is only available in clear blue, just some more energy parts there for the blade weapons. So all right, let's go ahead and take a look at these sets all built up. All right, guys, here is the Knight type all built up. Really like the look of this, and also really like the color of it. The mix of the dark blue and the very cool dark silver makes for a really nice look to this. A little bit different from just like a standard straight, just like molded silver color. So the color of it straight out of the box is really nice. And of course, it's going to be really fun to customize here. So we'll take a look at the main kit here, and we'll take a look at the custom weapon set, and then we'll see what kind of cool different combinations we can come up with. But awesome kit so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at those accessories. So first of all, as for our hand option parts, we've got these standard holding hands here. We've also got a set of open hands here, but you only have one set of the backings for the hands, the armor piece, so you will have to swap those when you swap the hands as well. Then we do also have another holding hand here with a bent wrist, which should be very useful for holding the sword. Now, this is only for the right side, mind you. We only have a couple of leftover parts, but one notable part would be this part here for the shoulder joint. If you didn't want to have this shoulder armor attached onto here, you can see this part has a little gap right there where the shoulder armor fits onto, but this piece here does not have that gap. So if you weren't using the shoulder armor, you could use this optional piece here to have just this arm joint connected closer to the body there. And then as far as its sort of official accessories here, or handheld accessories, we've got the sword, which is just a single piece. And as you can see here at the end, we've got a female hardpoint on one side, male hardpoint on the other side. So this can be mounted onto any one of the many hardpoints here around on the kit. Probably you're going to want this if you're going to be mounting it onto the side. This is kind of like a normal mounting position, I guess, right here onto the side skirt, which the side skirts are very wide on this kit, so it's going to be sticking like way out to the side, and it's going to be hard to have the arm in any position other than like kind of quite far out there. But you'll also notice that the length is quite long, being just about similar in height to the entire Spinatio unit here itself. So it's quite long. That's just going to fit into the hand as normal. Then we've got this shield, which, like the sword, is very simple but really nice. I really like the design of this. It's got a nice shape to it on the back side here. A couple of different hard points. As you can see, this could be mounted just directly onto a hard point there, or you have a couple of spots where you can plug this handle piece. Now that's meant to just be plugged into just right in here, and then of course could be turned on to either the left or the right side. So if you got 2 of this kit, you could definitely have a shield on both sides, for example. And there is no spot to plug this directly onto the side of the arm piece, and then this additional armor piece that we added onto there, both only have hard points on the back of the arm. So the only way to have this on the side of the arm is to utilize this handle piece here, just to have it held in the hand there like so. Now I do kind of wish that there was another hard point a little bit further down. So if you wanted to have it more in a position, something like this, if you wanted to have it somewhere around like this with this like longer pointed end pointing down, and it not to be like way down here like this, if you wanted to have it kind of a little bit higher up, you will have to do some kind of modification or some other different use of a connection piece or something in order to get this to actually be held up kind of a little bit higher like that. Small gripe, but overall, like I said, I really love the colors of this kit. That dark navy blue paired with this very cool darker silver looks really nice. It does make it so that the clear blue part in there for the visor is hardly visible, like unless it catches the light, you can sort of see that right there. It's going to be pretty much hidden there, so you're really not going to be able to see that clear blue part hardly at all. But obviously with all these different hard points around on here, you're going to have plenty of opportunity for customizing this even further. And on that note, without customizing the kit, why don't we take a look at a couple of poses here, just kind of showing a few things that you can do with this. Now, this set is on its own, I think, is one of those sets in the 30 minutes missions line that I think stands on its own very well. There's some sets where if you have just the main kit, it does kind of leave you like a little bit feeling wanting, as in like the set doesn't really come with maybe enough to really feel like a full set. This is one where it does feel like a full kit in here. You have the shield, you have the sword, and overall just the unit itself with those two main accessories, I think, feels complete. So it's one that you can get this, you can enjoy, I think, perfectly well without feeling like you need to buy some other sets. And obviously we're going to take a look at the additional weapon set here in just a moment, but it's definitely a really nice release in the line. And I've actually felt that way about a lot of the more recent releases, especially the Spinatio line in particular. I think has been really good about making the kits feel very complete with just the main kit, where you don't feel like you really need to get other stuff along with it. But of course, that's the beauty of this line, is that there's a lot of different stuff that you can get in order to customize it, and it's very easy to customize, and the option sets are always very affordable as well. They're very reasonably priced, so that is the great thing. If you did want to customize it, you can do so very easily, and it's not going to cost much. All right, and so as for the energy weapon set, here's what we got. A whole bunch of stuff here. Let's focus in on the main weapon here first. This is going to be our main big sword, which is pretty big. This one as well, going to be taller than the Spinatio itself. And the clear parts look really cool. Of course, this does have more features than meets the eye. This will open up, and we have another point of movement here and here. These blades can also move independently on their own here out to the side, all the way back, if you so choose, like all the way back to there, for example. You could opt to keep this front part closed up here like that, and then just keep these side parts kind of pulled all the way back. Something like this, which honestly, I mean, looks pretty cool. Or if you want to go for basically like what it shows in the manual, it's going to be like something like this. But of course, there is more that you can do. These front parts, when removed, can just be single kind of energy daggers on their own, just like that. And if we just go ahead and remove these side parts entirely, then we've just got one smaller sword here like this. Now that blade is kind of a little bit small in comparison to the handle. It's not necessarily quite well balanced, but we can of course swap this for any of the other blade option parts that we have. It's just going to use the small square connection piece. And so there's a lot of other weapons available in different weapon sets and stuff from the 30 minutes missions line that would fit in here as well. But for example, this much longer blade effect here would be a better fit, I think, probably for that sword handle. And of course, like you saw in the unboxing, we do have all of our blade effect parts in both clear blue and in just plain gray, if you prefer just a regular kind of physical sword. So here you can see we've got two of this large size handle there like that. And this handle piece here, you'll notice, has the same hard point there on both ends. So what you can actually do is just make this double-ended like that. Now here's where I think it would be a good idea to get two of this set, because if you wanted to have, for example, two of these like large physical blades on both ends, you do only have one of each. Now you could have like one energy one on one side and a physical one on the other, for example, but if you wanted to have two of the same on both ends, you are going to need two of this set. So you can make this into a double-ended weapon like so. And then we've got two of these smaller handles, which work for kind of any of the blades, even if you wanted to opt for, say, for example, this smaller blade, which I said is kind of a little bit small for that larger type handle. On a smaller type handle, it's going to be a nice smaller fit there like that. And the cool thing is with these handles, these will also fit together in this way. So you kind of plug them together, not straight end to end, but kind of in together there like that. And then you've got your handle there and you can hold on to whichever side you prefer. But this is, again, would be a good reason to get two of this set. For example, you can make some weapon like this, but if you wanted, again, two of the clear blue parts on both sides, you'll have to have two of the set. But anyway, there's a lot of really cool different combinations that you can make with those. Now, I should tell you guys that for the main sword, like the big sword that we talked about first, with these parts, you don't have just plain gray, like a plain gray set of the energy weapon parts, the clear blue blades that we have for this. You only have the clear blue set, as this is sort of like a single set of just all the parts here to make the main sword. But then of course we do also have the energy tank parts here. Now we have a set of these, again, with the plain gray plastic or with the clear blue parts there like that, and those are just going to have a couple of different connection points around on them. For this cylindrical one here like this, these parts have a male end and a female end. You can make it so that it's male on both sides or female on both sides, and this connection piece here, you can use on there if you want, but obviously that's just an optional piece to be able to connect this onto either the main body of your kit or adding this onto a larger weapon or something, whatever you might want to do with that. So some cool stuff included with this set for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at some combinations of just a few of the different weapon combinations that you can make with this set. Obviously there's a lot. I'm not gonna be able to show you every single combination possible. I wonder if you actually crunched the numbers and did the math exactly how many different weapon options you could make with this particular set. It would be a lot for sure. And so I'll show you a few different examples here. Obviously it's a really cool set, and like I said before, one that I think you get a lot of stuff in there, so ultimately you're probably going to have a lot of leftovers. But that said, it also might still be a good idea to get 2 of this set. That will give you even more leftover stuff that you're probably not going to ever eventually end up using, but it will give you some really nice options for if you wanted to have like doubles of some of the weapons, or like I said, a double-ended weapon with if you wanted the same beam effect or clear blue energy weapon effect on both sides. Having 2 of the set, it would be a good idea, and it's a reasonably priced set, of course, not being too expensive, so it's not necessarily going to break the bank to get 2 of this set. And the same goes for all the different kind of weapon sets and accessory sets that you can get for a 30 minutes missions line. As I was saying before, that's one of the reasons why it's so great. Really easy to customize and inexpensive. So a really cool weapon set here that I think goes quite nicely with this Spinatio. Honestly, these could go with any of the different kits very easily as well. And one thing that people always ask when I take a look at these weapon sets is, are they able to be used with your different Gunpla kits as well? And yes, of course, these will work perfectly well with your different Gunpla sets also. And obviously the weapon holding hands and like the size of the gap in the weapon holding hands differs kind of from kit to kit. These are just kind of pretty standardly sized, so they should fit in like most HG and RG Gundam kits without any issue. You may need to make a modification here or there as to just like the handle size, or for example, these weapons might be kind of loose in the hand of like a larger HGUC kit, for example, something like that. But generally, these would work perfectly well with any of your 1/44 scale Gunpla. If you wanted to use them with something larger, like a 1/100 scale, I think you can make them work as well, especially with some of like the larger weapons that we have included with this set. You could definitely make some of these work with a 1/100 scale kit, but again, I think the weapon handle would probably be a little bit loose in the hand of a larger 1/100 scale kit, so you might have to make some modifications accordingly. But hope that you guys enjoyed the review here today. Hopefully you found it useful. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and of course, if you guys want to check out some of these sets for yourself, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Got all sorts of awesome 30 minutes missions, 30 minute sisters, and everything else there from Bandai there on the site, so check that out. Until next time, guys, hope y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for all of your support, leaving a like, making sure that you're subscribed. It all helps out a great deal, and I appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Till next time, see y'all later. Bye, guys.